Hi, I'm Quinn. Here's what I played in January and February of 2025. I started my year off with playing Alan Wake 2, and what a way to start the year. This game is a masterpiece. Everything about this game is perfect. The graphics are incredible, some of the most realistic visuals I've ever seen. The animations are all phenomenal as well. The combat is a huge step up from the first game. Going full survival horror with this sequel was an incredible choice. The story is genuinely perfect. I loved everything about it. This game is a must play if you have any interest in the survival horror genre. I also played the DLC for this game. It's pretty good. It's definitely not a must play, but I would definitely recommend playing it at some point. Next, I played Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This game was not quite what I expected it to be. In particular, with how the first game ended and the fact that Zack is right there on the front cover, I really thought he would be a lot more important to the game, when he's not really involved in the main story whatsoever. The game was still really good though. It was a ton of fun. I think I personally prefer Remake over Rebirth, but they're both incredible games. Definitely play them both. Next, I played a bit of The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I'm about halfway through the game as of recording. This game just hasn't really clicked for me in a way that most Zelda games have. I really don't like the summoning based combat of this game. I wish you could just use a sword. It's a pretty good game though, I just haven't gotten into it that much. Next, I played Sonic X Shadow Generations. For the Sonic Generations half, this was my first time actually playing Sonic Generations. It's pretty good. I didn't like the movement controls, mainly because it doesn't feel like Frontiers, mostly due to the lack of a double jump. This is entirely my fault for playing Frontiers before Generations. I know a lot of people didn't like Frontiers movement because it wasn't Generations. Overall, the game's really good, but it's way too short. I beat it in like 3 hours. Like, there needed to be a little bit more there, in my opinion. As for the Shadow Generations half, that's honestly my favorite 3D Sonic game. For one thing, movement feels a whole lot better to me. It does have the double jump that was in Frontiers. It feels good. All of the level design in this game is perfect. They've really mastered 3D Sonic level design here. This game is also pretty short, but it still took me a lot longer than the Sonic Generations have, so like, yeah, it's really good. Next, I played a little bit of Assassin's Creed Mirage. This is my first Assassin's Creed game. I've only played a couple hours so far, but I actually really liked what I've played. The gameplay is a ton of fun. It weirdly reminds me of Insomniac Spider-Man, but like without web powers. But it's really fun. The story just has done absolutely nothing for me so far, but I definitely want to play more of this game at some point. Next, I got the Doohickey. I decided to use it to play my completely legitimate copy of Guitar Hero World Tour. See, I have a real copy right here. I really like the controller. It's different than a full guitar, but still fun to use. The actual controller part itself is really good quality, but I do not like the left thumbstick placement at all. It feels too close to the edge of the controller. The triggers could feel a bit better as well, but it's fine. I might use it to play like 2D games or something, but I don't see myself using the button part of the controller too often. I do like the fret part though. Next, I played Silent Hill 2 Remake. This was my first Silent Hill game, and Man, this game is amazing. This game has some of the best atmosphere in any game I've ever played. It is so effective. The voice acting in this game really stood out to me. It's all really good. I don't have a frame of reference for the original game, but Luke Roberts as James is one of the best performances I've ever seen in a video game. If I do have one critique, I think the big plot twist could have been done a bit better. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I couldn't quite tell what I was looking at. I looked up the original game's cutscene, and it was not like that. I don't know why they did it like this. Other than that issue, which isn't even as bad as I made it sound, this story is incredible. I got the in-water ending, which, man. Next, I picked up Rift of the NecroDancer at launch. This game was everything I had hoped it would be. The rhythm gameplay is so much fun. The soundtrack is really good. The mini-games in it were pretty fun, but there weren't enough of them. There were only 5. Also, none of them quite matched the level of a Rhythm Heaven minigame that they seemed to be inspired by. The bosses were also great, but they're a bit too hard on higher difficulties. One last thing to mention, the game has really cool mod support. You can make custom tracks like pretty easily, and sharing them is made really easy through the Steam Workshop. There's over 1,000 songs made for it already. Someone charted a bra sound effect too. This is literally impossible. Overall, this is an incredible rhythm game. I would highly recommend it. Next, I managed to get into the closed network test for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. It's pretty fun. The handling definitely took some getting used to, but once I got the hang of it, I had a ton of fun with this. The items are a bit too chaotic, but I have a feeling they're gonna tone that down in the final release. I might pick this game up when it comes out. I don't have PlayStation Online, so I don't know if I'd get enough out of it because of that. But it was fun. Next, I played Fire Emblem Engage. I'm really enjoying it so far. I haven't quite finished it at the time of recording, but I'm still actively playing it. The visuals are so much better than Three Houses. As much as I love that game, it never looked very good. There's a lot of neat touches to animations in this game as well. I really like all of that. Also, I love how there's a lot of fully animated cutscenes in this game. Three Houses just did not have a ton of those. Everything about this game just looks so much better. I like how the structure of this game is a lot closer to past Fire Emblem games rather than being the same structure as Three Houses. As much as I love that game, it's very long, and I like having a much shorter game this time around. I will say the story so far is kinda nothing. Like, it's a very simplistic story reminiscent of the first Fire Emblem game, which is neat, but like, it's not that great. A lot of the characters are kinda one note as well. I would still recommend this game, but I would probably recommend Three Houses first. Lastly, I picked up Bloodborne. This is my first From Software game. For the longest time, I was like weirdly harshly judgmental on these games. I just did not see the appeal in them. And now that I've played this, you guys were right, this game is sick. Overall, I'm not sure if it's like fully my kind of game, but it's an incredible game. I don't mind really difficult games, but at certain points, this game kinda got more frustrating than fun. One thing I really didn't like was the health potion system. I don't like that they're an item that you needed to grind for. Like, I don't see a reason why you couldn't just spawn with a full inventory at all times. I feel like the difficulty could have been more balanced throughout the game as well. I found the first required boss of the game to be way harder than anything else in the game. Like, it took me hours to beat it, whereas every other boss has taken me, like, a couple tries at most. Personal complaints aside, I can still tell that this game is incredible. I'm definitely not going to be like a diehard From Software fan, but I will definitely be playing more of their games in the future. Anyways, that's all I've played in these past 2 months. Tell me what you've been up to in the comments. See you next time.